So, it's come to this. Champions of Khandia by Andrea Rosa. Copyright 2020. We love to see C. At least, listen, it's not C. It's actually the copyright symbol. Holy shit, somebody actually did it. Wow. It's still a lie. It's still fucking laughable. But at least Andrea Rosa uses the copyright symbol Unicode thing instead of just putting C in parentheses. All right, we're starting off pretty well here. These Unruly Lands is the first mission. We're going to be playing this for the campaign takedown video, which if you're watching this, you're already watching it because of that video. So hi, and hope you enjoyed the content there. If you are Andrea Rosa, hi. If you're not Andrea Rosa, hi. Well, let's get into the campaign. I don't think I really need to do it forward because I already covered everything in the video. So, the scenario is part of Champions of Khandia. There's no... Again, no fucking... It's just literally just copy-paste from Blizzard. Copy-paste from Blizzard, these first two lines. And then this is like... Where's your story info at? Where's your mod at? Where's your voice acting at? Where's your Brood War tech tree at? Where's your... Oh, wait. Oh. I'm playing in Brood War mode. Oh, I'll actually be able to use a functionally complete game state when I play this campaign. Wow. Admittedly, Protoss don't really need Dark Templar, Dark Archons, and Corsairs. But, you know, Terrans did need medics. It's pretty inarguable. Fucking Christ. All right, let's get into this, dude. These Unruly Lands. I'm excited. Let's go. I won't be reading text, by the way, out loud. Maybe if it's like a really big prologue text or something. Mandelius, dude, Mandelius. That's a fucking name. See, this isn't even a first-party character, so you definitely could have done voice acting. Also, we're talking to a viewport again. Oh, man, this is like... I wonder if he used the Protoss name generator for these names. Ancient inscriptions. Ancient! They're ancient, so, you know, pretty important. It would be really funny if this was a campaign that explains how Dark Templar can be added to your tech tree. Ah, shit, it's just Psystorm. Or some dumb trigger that uses witness deaths. Observer deaths for those who are plebs. I like how it went from ancient to forbidden. You're really ping-ponging between the fucking cliches. Vixney Yarmak. I think Vixney is actually kind of cool. Yarmak is a bit cringe, but... The Hermit Archon. Don't keep calling him Hermit Archon. It's embarrassing. That's like if I called somebody like Dad Todd and his name wasn't Mark. That was a sentence. Oh man, that's setting up that's setting up a mission where you're only using a hero and a single other unit or something, but this is a very long briefing, by the way. I was, what, memeing for a minute before I started? It's already 4 minutes long or something? Okay, well, never mind. I was expecting him to introduce this Zolix person, but I guess the briefing will continue after this. All right, let's recap what we just figured out. So I don't know any of the fucking names. I think it's Arkantala or whatever is some place. I don't know any of the province names. Very poor job in like sort of is an info dump. It was very, at least it wasn't just like exposition stuff. Like Andrew Rosa has done some basic things correct, which deserve to be well, in a perfect world, you would just take this for granted, but this is the StarCraft custom campaign world where nobody knows how to write anything, as evidenced by all of the projects I have ever played on my channel. So we do have some content here that is actually somewhat subversive, somewhat a little bit deeper, and thus worthy of being actually engaged with in a critique in a little bit more in depth than what I would normally do. So I will take a little bit of time to try to digest that more completely. Even though, again, it's no fucking voice acting in any of these projects, so you don't even get a chance to actually be invested in the world that there is an attempt at creating, and it is just ultimately fan fiction because it's within another setting anyway, but it's not like fan fiction that's taking itself seriously enough to, or taking the player fucking seriously enough to really respect their time. So there's a long-ass briefing. A lot of it, again, I'll say exposition, but it wasn't done via info dump. It was more like a lot of proper nouns thrown around at you, overwhelming. No pronunciation either, because there's no voice acting, and no, it doesn't really feel like there's a lot of consistency to it. Like there's that Vixney, or whatever it was called, Vixney Yarmak, some gobbledygook. And it was that, and you combine that with like the Hermitod, the Hermit Archon, and then there's the House of Shadows. I saw name drop like once or twice. Obviously, there's the more tame name of Reliquary of Khandia. By the way, Khandia is a hilarious name. Like, obviously, you just say Champions of Candyland instead if you're trying to like. This isn't something you really necessarily have to keep in mind as you're writing or creating a story or a world or whatever, but it would probably behoove writers to not pick names that could very easily be like memed on to that level where they already sound a little goofy and there's like one syllable you change to be even more goofy. But we'll see how goofy we really get, huh? Okay. If we're gonna take the premise of this mission that we're supposed to be unleashing Psionic Hurricane and wipe out like a base that is otherwise impossible. Okay. I think the biggest issue here is probably that we're not given a chance to know anything about the threat that we're facing. What should happen is that there should be some sort of establishing cutscene where these characters are trying to do something more conventionally, and then that fails, and then they fall back. Or, better yet, because this is really important story information, a mission where you initially strike out, and then that somehow fails, where it could be that you claim victory over a small, like, hive cluster of some sort, but it was really hard fought, and then it's revealed that there's, like, one that's, like, 8 times the size in another area that you're supposed to be liberating, or another area of your province or something. Or you could just do it that you fail the assault. I'm not really sure how you would do that in RTS context, because you're supposed to be able to win. But it smacks of kind of gimmicky if you're trying to make the player fail. That being said, at this point, we have no context for how strong or powerful this thing is. And if they're saying that the only way they can do it is some, essentially, like, I'll say gimmick for the sake of just referring to something that I assume is going to be done through a trigger instead of it, like, it's not like there's EUDs or modding or anything in this. So it's not like we have some unit that casts Psionic Hurricane and it's like a Grief of All Gods style nuke type thing or something. So, but they're describing the need for something like nuclear weapons in Terran Arsenal. And the fact that the Protoss don't have something that they're ready for this is kind of embarrassing because they are supposed to be higher tech. But if we set that aside and we just think about this in a more vacuum, like a fridge logic type thing where we're just analyzing what's in front of us, we still don't really know what the main enemy base is all about. We don't know anything about the strength of it. We just are told through these like people that oh yeah, it's just too hard. That's not very effective when you're dealing with an audiovisual medium. And we're already not getting the audio part, but you don't even really demonstrate it visually. You are just telling it to us through text. And that is like the essence of show versus tell. Show would be showing that. You're kind of showing a bit of that. You're showing the characters not being able to take any plan seriously unless it's desperate, because or grand in scope, because it's you know, the threat is too high. The characters are like, the first character was expositioning us. Mandelius, that's his name. How could I forget? Mandelius was expositioning us. That might not even be his fucking name, but I just know his man. Man was expositioning us the threat of the base, and then this Rastafarian guy was another name that you definitely could have made better by not having Rasta as part of it. Rastafaria is telling us about the like some forbidden technique, jujitsu from Naruto or whatever, some anime stuff that you can use to defeat them, and you have to like do some gimmick to trigger it or whatever. I don't know the details, obviously, because I haven't played or seen this campaign, but the first thing that really sticks out to me is that we have a long briefing. We're not shown any real information besides a tiny bit of perhaps hinting at interpersonal relations between these two characters. I couldn't really tell if Man was just dissatisfied with Rastaban based on the fact that he's got this plan that goes against what the Conclave would want. I couldn't tell if that's why he was a little miffed, or if they actually have some history. It's kind of hard to know, and you don't have voice acting, so you can't like infer based on like tone of voice and all this other stuff that you would normally have if you respected the player. And then if you take a step away from that and you try to consider like what you're really doing about some of this other stuff, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about like how I would try to change up and rearrange some of this stuff, but I think the most important thing is that the giant threat that you're expositioning to the player, and in an info dump manner, although admittedly a rather quick one, is not actually shown to us, so we don't have any context for how powerful it really is. And we just, at that point, we just have to say, okay, I guess it's too powerful. I'm imagining that the player is just like tech disabled so that they can't stand a chance of actually claiming victory over whatever it is. And maybe that there's like some other gimmicks or whatever, because like Andrew Rose has like made entire bases invincible in the past and stuff when he doesn't want you to kill stuff. So it's very StarCraft 2 approach where you're just disallowed access to a certain area and expected to just like suck shit. So obviously that's disrespectful, but if we're considering it outside of the vacuum, or in a vacuum of just this project, like I have no context for what a base that is impossible to defeat actually looks like, because in Brood War, Protoss are very powerful, very potent, and can especially just siege anything. They got carriers, they got reavers, they got really powerful ground armies with Zealot Dragoon. They can Psystorm. Like, there's so many things you can do, especially against Zerg, especially against Zerg bases, that it really shouldn't be that difficult to imagine a situation where, like, especially with my knowledge of pro games, like, yeah, Protoss would fucking mop the floor with these guys. So unless they're like pre-placed out the wazoo to a super disrespectful degree, and even then, like, you can chip away at that given enough freedom and enough resources. So like, what is the deal? So I'm already starting to ask a lot of questions that I really don't want to be asking in the context of what's supposed to be an RTS campaign. Let's see how far we go. Also, these objectives were here the whole time. Classic. We already talked about that in the Unlikely Allies section, though I don't need to repeat myself. Meet Rastaban at the Reliquary. Zolux must survive. Ah, micro. Pause. There is still some Protoss activity. Okay, so I guess we can... I thought I was going to be using like playing a game. Turn off the frame display. Speed the game up a bit. I didn't mean to psychoactively destroy some units, but... Hey, who put this sunken colony here? You want to explain that? Want to explain how that colony got there? Because I don't see any way a hatchery could have been down. Oh, another one. Oh, gimmick colony. By the way, Zolux is 40 shields in health less than Phoenix. I can't tell if he's got less armor. I think he's got the same armor. And I think same damage. So, another classic case where you just slightly change the vitals of a unit. By the way, I guess, is this his idea of, like, exploring my surroundings? How the fuck am I supposed to explore anything? What? Is this some kind of prank? Dude, is this what passes for fucking macro in this game? Oh my goodness. Jesus. Why? Why is my life pain? Alright, clearly I'm not supposed to frontline with this guy because he just gets all of his shields destroyed. I'm assuming that this is airtight and that I can't actually leave with a probe. Yeah, there's a fucked tile here to block me leaving. And a bunch of other fucked tiles. I don't know what the fuck. There's like busted mud everywhere. Wait, did you think this was good or... Oh. He's, because of his fuck tiles, he's actually giving me more build space than I would normally have. Oh. I can't build there. Oh. He's placed a bunch of borrowed units over here to block my building. That's embarrassing. So I'm just supposed to suck dick until I can get more pylons, basically. Yeah, people still haven't realized that there is no gameplay in micro maps. I don't know if I'm getting spawned on or what is going on here. Oh, hi. Ah! Wait, did he attack the... I don't know what he attacked. Yeah, these tiles are not placed very well. Nice repetition over here. Alright. Front line with this guy. We can't really frontline with much more at this point. I'm assuming that's just a... Oh, there's a Nidus. What's up, N? See if we can snipe this. Pretty unreasonable that it has 500 HP for no reason. I'm sure that won't be consistent. I'm sure that's not a consistent balance change that was made because Andrea Rosa believed that Nidus Canal should have more HP. Now, admittedly, I'm kind of metagaming on that one. I don't really know, but... Okay, this is just an area we were just in. So at least we can link back if we ever need to go defend our Nexus, but I presume that will not be the case. The only place we haven't actually fully explored so far is that other route, but... Okay, now we can build probes. I'll just build one other probe over here, because there's obviously when resources are depleted, they're completely useless. This is another case where you're not allowed to exit the... This is like gimmick to an extreme, dude. I definitely wouldn't have expected this. And then I guess we'll just... At least with the assimilator over here, we will always have some degree of stuff. What I'm wondering is, I guess he didn't make it... He didn't make this stuff buildable because he was worried about visuals or something. This is just embarrassing. Alright, well, that's the extent of what I can do. I don't actually know what I can do with these upgrades yet. I assume I have to find some structure. Maybe there's something over here. This is a pretty malicious map so far. IMO. We get nothing. No real gameplay to speak of. So this Hydralisk was sat here, next to this Reaver, and a Wandering Reaver. This, yeah, a Wandering Reaver. He was wandering in a corner with a Hydra. He's chilling. All right, I guess that's what the fucking... That's what that stuff is for. What is this? Oh, okay, this is actually pretty useful. Why is there... There was just a random dark... Why? Anyone want to explain that one? Where's my fucking... Oh. Alright, it's obviously I don't actually need... It's now obvious to me that I don't need to worry about... I can't actually sneak over there. I don't need to worry about, just, beat the deck, I guess. Hi. Ah, a pause. I see that your robotic unit is severely damaged. We can repair it and also upgrade it with stronger plasma shields and automatic scarab production. The process requires 250 minerals and 125 gas. What the fuck? What? This is cringe, dude. Alright, well, it's not like I can spend my money on anything else, so off we go. That wasn't even where I need to go, which means I'm supposed to go to this gate.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Stop center viewing and pausing in the middle of actual combat. By the way, I'm assuming this is just a fucking Warbringer, but... Wait, actually, I don't... Oh, yeah, okay. So it's just a unit that had the upgrade already. By the way, he said stronger scarabs, but that's a lie. Wait, did he say strong? Maybe he said stronger hull. I don't fucking remember. Also, why is that zealot named Blacksmith? And why can he not assist me on the front lines like a true Protoss warrior? Almost like that's cringe. I guess I'll also scout out over here since I just spotted another meme. This is bad. This is a bunch of blocks. Great. Glad I did that. I really feel kind of sick, actually. Kind of woozy. Feel kind of like I might puke. Jesus Christ. I guess it doesn't really. Am I really supposed to just sit here? Am I supposed to just sit here and wait? This is gameplay? Like, what the fuck? Dude. He didn't even try. Alright, well. Oh, this is an invincible gateway. I wonder if the Reaver was also invincible, and that it would explain why the Hydralisk didn't kill it. Like, what the fuck? Oh, hi. N. Jesus. We didn't even get an introduction to who Zolix was, by the way. I don't even think he talked to the Executor. He said one line at the beginning. Oh, I guess he probably said Antaro Adun. And Executor. And... We've already been over this. Growing silence in the distance is an okay line. Yeah, the biggest issue here is that we have no context for what the Psionic Hurricane is, or the base that we're about to destroy with it, or maybe not about to, but we are going to at some point. And, like, it's pretty, that's pretty bad, because we're working towards goals we don't properly understand, and all this shit.
Your command? Immediately. Your thoughts. Your command?
Alright, I guess this is how I will do this now.
Executor?
Presumably, since I can actually train Dragoons, I can gain something. Wow, this is pretty exciting stuff. Brutalized. If only Scarabs dealt the same damage as Ends and also dealt friendly fire, I could skip this mission. Obviously, then maybe Andrew. Dude, this does not line up. Like, you can mod the tile set, right? Man, this is slow. What else we got here? We got some broodlings. I've spawned. I've triggered the spawns. I think. What's this fucking caterpillars? Imagine calling a caterpillar, right? Like, nobody thinks about names for units when they make any custom units. For one, caterpillar I think was just already the name of something a while ago. But like literally caterpillar. You know, like, you know, caterpillar. Oh, this guy's just a normal Templar, it looks like. I thought he would have had a... something. Just take that out now. And we can charge in. Hey, scarabs give vision. I forgot about that for some reason. Walk around this deformed, blocky thing. Oh, nothing to see here, folks. Hello? Why would meditating here recover your strength exactly? Ah, you've been Warcraft 3'd, idiot! Now my caterpillar will this caterpillar moves about as fast as most units in Warcraft 3. Did you know that? Brutalized. Busted grass. Dude, like, everything's broken. Oh, base. Thank fucking Christ. Stop spinning. Alright, instant upgrades, because upgrades are functional. That guy told me something, I didn't pay attention. I can't build more gateways. Oh my god. We're still not out of the woods, boys. We're still gimmicked. Nice. At least we're not dumb tested, I think. Alright, well, we can build photon cannons, though. Okay, bye. I actually don't have any anti-air. Currently getting owned. Oh well, they all died. There we go. Ah, the caterpillar died. Well, I can just build more, so whatever. I can't upgrade them, but I can build more of them. Why? Oh, these were manually targeted, I guess. Because Blizzard, if it was targeted at left at anywhere, that's how the Blizzard sorter works. That's pretty funny. That was pretty hilarious sequence of events. Without access to air units, specifically Corsairs, I'm not going to have too much that I can deal with. I can't train new Templar, obviously, because he's literally just a Templar. Because modding a portrait is too hard, so let's just make him a Templar. Yeah, I actually don't know what to do about that one. So this is my mission objective, but I also have to reach this location, by the looks of it. Well, we'll just sit tight for our upgrades. It doesn't look like this guy's doing much. I guess we can just prank them. Thanks. I had no idea. Okay, we'll put all of our units over here into a control group. All of my other stuff just got completely sacrificed for some reason. Like, it's just gone now. So I was gonna say I should move those units into a separate control group, but alright, this guy can be like sitting in the base. At some point I might need him for defense. I can't believe I can't build more gateways. That's like literally the most basic idea. I should have checked that when I first had probes, actually, but that's just embarrassing. Alright. I did just put those down at a pretty inopportune time. I think I was hiding behind a forge. But at least I can get higher level upgrades. I was expecting that to be disallowed. Do I not have a Citadel of a Dune, though? It doesn't look like I can get leg enhancements. I can get goon range, which is going to be pretty important. The shield battery is not very often used. but I do find it quite quite entertaining when you see shield batteries used in competitive play, because they're usually just used to like gimmick some zealots into a perpetual state of healing while they're harassing a Zerg. Like, instead of putting down a photon cannon, they'll save 50 minerals and put down a shield battery when they have zealots in there, like a Zerg expansion proxy or something. It's pretty funny stuff. I can't think of any actual programs that this happened in recently, but I do remember seeing it some time ago. Alright, well, we're stuck with 2 fucking units. I could build Dark Templar, and I don't really care if I do, to be honest, but that is something that is allegedly against the rules. So, whatever. I will get Goon range and then some Goons. Think about calling a Protoss unit Goon. I was talking about Caterpillar earlier. That's literally an Earth creature. Probably don't want to name your alien species, you know, after Earth creature. Your alien species is advanced technology. Should probably not be named after that. So we'll go when we have maybe 3 more Dragoons, and I think that's probably fine. Test the waters. Heroes would be more impactful in these early game scenarios, but I don't feel like losing them, and I actually think they will be pretty good for defense anyway, so. Just those on the same control group. And oh yeah, forgot I can build stuff now, guys. There's not a million borrowed units blocking the build path. This is a classic. They already won one. Dude, holy shit, they bite. Okay. Well, it kind of puts a damper on my parade, doesn't it? I think we'll put the cannons a little bit further back. And we'll try to make some sort of wall. I'll just put a pylon there. I'd clearly need more. These resources seem like they'll last a little while, so I can afford to be pretty dumb with my distribution. Need another goon, and then I'm good to goon. We could also defend with a Reaver in those situations, which I guess I can just do next. It's pretty unfortunate they still got that. Looks like they're just like blind waypointed into my stuff, which is kind of expected. Alright, let's go. Meanwhile, I will do this. Try to get the Hydralisk's attention, but there's a lot of pre-placed colonies in this base. Alright, we'll pull back. We made a pretty sizable dent in their forces. I have to replenish my... I guess I'll just use my base to whittle down their fucking idiots. These guys don't have +1 attack, which is why we destroyed them entirely. I will go ahead and shield recharge my zealots, get shield upgrades. I can only get tier 2. It's the worst thing in the world, I suppose. Place the Dragoon. Alright, we can actually just poke back in here and snipe this Evo chamber before they finish any other upgrades. Alright, back we go. Might have been one step too far with all the wounded units. I never expect so many fucking pre-placed units, to be honest. I should know better by now. Let's back up. Accidental target selection. Oh, I can't build batteries, never mind. Prank. So white has another base somewhere. It's a bit odd. I think we can keep pushing, to be honest. Obviously, normally I would just do something else with units, compositionally. Trying to snipe this before they get any more upgrades as well. I think I can just keep hold positioning right here, to be honest. Yeah, that's going to take care of itself. Front line is what we need right now. Shields are almost done, which is nice. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's not really a whole lot of substance here, and we're not able to expand our troop production to get rid of any excess money we may or may not end up having. And this base was built in the middle of fucking nowhere with no resources. So. We'll wait for some more stragglers, because I want a better front line. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to build some fucking scarabs with this thing. Good thing I didn't get attacked, because that would have been really funny. Imagine saying good thing I didn't get interacted with. Though there's not really that many interactions here, are there? Alright, we'll snipe this. Pretty embarrassing that you can't even see upgrade statuses in vanilla. Dude, this base is enormous. Alright, we should fall back pretty soon here. But I will... They have 2 Defiler mounds in the same base. It's almost like they didn't pay for any of this stuff because it would have been a giant waste of money. I can queue up shields tier 2. Yeah, pretty, we went straight from slapstick to boring pretty quickly. I don't really have too many options for actually doing stuff, so... Yeah. I also have this, like, built-in assumption that when I... Nice broken AI. I have this built-in assumption, right, that when I destroy an enemy unit or building, I will actually be rewarded for the activity, for playing against my opponent, right? And taking away one of his advantages or assets. But it's never really the case, based on the fact that we... It's not like we actually have access to, I can't believe he kept focusing on that one while he was getting attacked by 3 other units. You know, it's just one of those things where you're not actually doing much, right? You're, all of the interactions are hollow because you're not really fighting against an opponent that's trying to beat you. They're just trying to be an obstacle. And this is a pretty common design flaw. I would say ubiquitous in pretty much all campaigns I've played. We are indeed depleted on gas, which is a good thing. We already queued up all of the upgrades we'll be getting. And now we can focus a bit more on some zealots and expand to this location where there is some gas. I got depleted pretty early on the other one. Obviously, there's no way to know. You basically need to operate on prior knowledge to know that you're supposed to mine as much gas as possible to stand a chance. How's this stuff going over here? We'll just train a couple more scarabs. There was a sunken over here. It looks like we already A-moved it, which is pretty nice. We're looking like a triggered spawn wave over here. So you definitely would have used this stuff before. This is like a, epic hero moment. You can use Psystorm against Zerglings. But we don't have our non-hero hero in this area, and we still didn't lose any units anyway. Or at least nothing of note. Some zealots if there was anything. go. I guess I'll send a probe down here. I can always transfer them over to the new base. So I don't mind overbuilding it, potentially. Alright, I think we've basically destroyed that guy. Yeah, I mean, this is what I was saying earlier, right? Is that, like... I guess we'll also... check this. Yeah. Huh! There's guardians over here because they're guarding something. It's a good thing I was checking that, because I would have been pranked. After getting spider-mined earlier in Omen's campaign, I will not be pranked.
Upgrade complete.
There's a suggestion a while ago from Fagudo over on my Discord server that we should make it so that when Zerg structures are destroyed, the creep that they immediately were occupying, the build space they were occupying, that creep there gets removed instantly, which I think would be quite a welcome improvement. Because right now, any singular creep mass recedes like basically randomly, so just have to wait for it to. I'm assuming there's any other gameplay here, but I think we might just win. What was my mission objective? Oh, and a probe. Well, lucky for you, I have one. So, just do that. Yeah, so first impressions are not really all that splendid, but I suppose we
What would you ask of me?
weren't really challenged. It's not a good thing. Well, I don't know what you expected when they were literally having guardians outside. It's kind of weird that there was no dialogue once the macro section got going. Without voice acting, it's really hard to focus on dialogue in the middle of gameplay, and that's something that I mentioned even when I first got macro and I started spending my money that I had built up over the course of the stupid micro gimmick section. I was way too focused on that, and the guy said something about, like, the base is really important, which I... Like, it's so boring that you have to say that in dialogue, or you feel you have to say that in dialogue. It's such a faux pas, because you literally, like, of course every player who's played an RTS knows their base is important. I mean, in Melee, it's literally the defeat condition if you lose all buildings. But to have to prescribe that with an obvious dialogue line that's, like, literally just saying the obvious, and then to prescribe that with an objective that prevents you, well, a tech requirement thing, a map setting that prevents you from training additional gateways, from warping in additional gateways, on top of then making it a defeat condition if any gateway dies. Like, any one of these elements is bad. The line of dialogue that's really obvious and also poorly timed, and without voice acting, is really bad. The tech restriction is really bad, because it's literally how we train units. It's not something you can argue is, like, not very useful for this mission, which you could argue High Templar weren't, or whatever, even though they would have come in handy if I wanted to express myself using High Templar. But whatever, like, that's a completely different argumentation, I suppose, a completely different topic, but that's bad. The fact that we don't have the opportunity to train additional fucking production facilities so we can train additional units quicker, that's bad. It wouldn't have come into fruition unless we killed Red first and then took the base that Red had, and then used that against White. But White was such a pushover that it didn't really matter. I just cleaned him up with tier 1, although he had a ton of pre-placed shit. But again, we're sort of getting sidetracked. So all three elements that I just referenced, though, those are terrible. There's really bad dialogue that's not voice acted, that I'm not even paying attention to because it's poorly timed as well. So it's poorly placed in the map. It's really bad scenario design where we don't have access to a fucking gateway of all things, and it's also just really bad that it's a defeat condition. Like, if you could still build more gateways, then I guess it would be some mad risk reward thing, but the whole idea is that the only reason why the gateways must survive is because you can't rebuild more. But even then, like, if you have one gateway, you can still win the mission. If you have no gateways and just an army, you can still win the mission. The mission is just moving some dudes to a beacon. Like, you can do that with or without gateways. If I really had to, I could have kept the Caterpillar alive and the heroes, and just the heroes, mind you, and maybe some Dragoons. Maybe the one Dragoon I still had at the time. And with that force, I could have actually defeated the White base. Pretty much guarantee you that. Now, it would have been really hard. It would have probably involved some save scumming, but it would have been more than possible. And that tells me that, like, like that just breaks the immersion completely. Suddenly, it's not about fucking. It's no longer about like, does this make sense in universe? Because it doesn't even make sense in game, let alone in universe. So I already am just blown out the water in that respect, and not in the positive sense. I mean, just look at this. Like, these are the resources they harvested. We go to resources. White spent a lot of his money, but, well, no, actually, that's not true. Because he had almost double of that when you combine these resources. Just about double what he spent. Red barely did anything. They attacked with some Zerglings. Zerg kept it easy or some shit. This right here is embarrassing. I don't usually look at the score screen because it usually doesn't matter. Like, you can tell based on the fact that White had way more than 12 structures, and he only built 12 fucking structures. But he lost more than he built. That's pre-placed. That's fucking pre-placed right there. So yeah, that's also what we call a prank, as a matter of fact. So we'll back up and take a look at the sort of take stock of where we are. That mission was 192 by 96. Didn't really use much of its map space, but it had to use that map space because there was a gimmick micro map at the beginning, and then a gimmick macro map at the end where you still ignored the right side anyway because that's where red was. And yeah, okay, we do have another map. It's 96 by 96. Interesting choice of Ashworld for the tile set, so maybe there's something worth looking at there. But I don't know, I just remembered what unmodded Ashworld looks like, and it's pretty sparse, so probably not. You don't even get a chance to use like structure or like any sort of man-made material without modding the tile set. So he's, well, yeah, I don't know. I maybe I shouldn't be looking forward to that at all. Oh, boy. Well, I took a moment to collect myself and to do some other stuff. To pick heavy things up and put them down, as they say. And you know what? I feel a lot better. I feel relaxed. I feel ready to enter the House of Shadows. I'm not ready, but let's see it. Let's do it. Depths of Vixney Yormak. Wait, well, how are we in the depths moments later? Whoa. Also, nice text in the bottom left that I'm not supposed to read yet. I forgot about Hermit Archon. Jesus. That's like the most... First of all, Archons are not supposed to live for like longer than an hour. Second of all, yes, Blizzard broke their own lore with Ulrazaj, but that was afterwards. Oh, but apparently he's the most ancient Archon of all time. Also, Armyrus. There's so many, like, proper nouns we don't... Utna Bainzar. Yeah, I think a lot of things are working against this campaign, but the lack of voice acting is, like, top fucking shelf at this point. If you had voice acting... No, the campaign's content would not improve in terms of, like, gameplay. But yes, absolutely, it would be way more reasonable and way more palatable to deal with all of the proper nouns that are super arcane. Because then you can tell me what the fucking pronunciation is. You can deliver the names and the dialogue in ways that are actually reasonable. Also, by the way, a nice little clever note for you guys. Having actual voice acting in your product forces you to make your script a bit more reasonable because suddenly you've got to account for every single transmission instead of just lazily writing text. Which, you know, again, Andrew Rose's text is a little bit more... probably has more effort put into it, or he's just operating at a generally higher level than most other people that are making campaigns, but this is still fucking excessive. At this purpose, by the way. Seems like at this point, maybe. Never heard at this purpose. Never heard that before. Oh boy, here we go. We got fucking redstone mechanic from StarCraft 2 because StarCraft 2 is another Blizzard product, and Blizzard products are what you should always look for inspiration and for guides on what to design, how to make something that's actually cool and epic. I also guarantee you that there was no effort made to make the lava eruptions actually do anything besides blow every unit up. So this briefing was, I think, worse than the first one because even though it provided less in the form of like random proper nouns that we'll probably never remember, like that Armyrus guy or whatever his name was, that was Zolix's master. The biggest issue, it's also shorter. It was shorter than the first briefing, but it's still worse, I think, because it didn't actually give us much of an understanding of what our mission is going to be. I say that, and now in retrospect, maybe the first briefing was worse, because the first briefing implied that we would be commanding a base and stuff, and we said we had to micro our little hearts out for like 10 minutes, and I say our little hearts, it wasn't very challenging, so I guess I can't really say that either. Cold water. My homie. Man. You ever get a little liquored and then decide, I'll take a shower, and then forget to make it a warm shower? Dude, I'd never sobered up so fucking fast in my whole existence. So, if we're talking about this, if we're talking about this briefing, man. I don't see what the point is of writing briefings with long text and like any degree of length at all if you're not even going to have voice acting. You have to be so to the point and specific, and you have to deal in things that are inarguable in terms, like, you can't really have subtext for like somebody's dialogue without voice acting. Like, okay, people do it in books, but the whole thing is book. The whole thing is text. Like, it's not the same thing as this, where there's an expectation of gameplay somewhere. Maybe that's the trick. Maybe Andrea Rosa and other Star Edit Crusaders are just trying to make it so that there is no expectation of gameplay, and that's how they get away with all this stuff. Maybe that's it. Some food for thought. I have no real commentary on the briefing, I guess. It's very confusing, and we have no real idea of what we're doing besides fucking lava eruptions. There's like some ham-fisted dialogue about the gimmick, and then aren't we on Ire? Or some, oh no, maybe we aren't. We're on some jungle Protoss planet, so it might as well be Ire. Why the fuck how deep is this facility? And why could we only access it from one angle that happened to be infested by Zerg? Like, surely a facility with this much depth and width and girth and length would be accessible from multiple holes. I should have said orifices. That would have been classier. Well, use Zolix to collect all crystals. Beware of lava eruptions. Zolix and Rastabun must survive. Probe must not be destroyed until a nexus is established. You know what's really embarrassing here? Is that the crystals I completely missed. I completely missed the crystals part of the briefing. Maybe that's not even established yet. But I have no idea what the fuck that is. Oh, yeah. These are looking good. These are good Protoss pillars, by the way. Looking pretty nice. Remember the probe must not be destroyed? That would have been fucking amazing if that was the first thing that I did.
What would you ask of me?
Sacred crystal. It's not your average crystal. Oh, we're 1 out of 6 the way there. Alright. I guess this is where I'm supposed to put my nexus. I will do so. Wow, this is AIDS. I guess I'm going to need 4 workers no matter what, so I might as well put it a bit closer to the Mineralis. What do we got here? At least I seem to have, well, never mind. Dude, Ashworld's... Okay, bye.
What would you ask of me? For hire, as you will, immediately.
Nice bug tile. That's a lardism. They just larded it. Yeah, don't worry. Don't attack my defenseless Templar, by the way. Alright, so we have to kill that, like, wave 2 more times. Nice sunken colony. I'll just keep... another pre-placed sunken colony 5 feet from my fucking base, so I can't do any early action. I have to literally sit here sucking dick until the Nexus finishes warping in. Also known as AIDS. Hey, check this pylon icon out. Isn't it accurate? Hey, check this Nexus wireframe out. Isn't it accurate? Ah, 3! Ah, Zerg campaign easy! Oh, man. Oh, guys, it's Zerg campaign easy! Oh, man. Oh, guys, it's StarCraft 2. Oh, man. Yeah, we'll just do that, I guess. Well, at least we had a decent amount of starting money, so... I'll just get 2 gateways. That's probably the most I can produce off of until I get more money. Hopefully something on the fucking high ground so I don't have to deal with AIDS. At least not as many aids. Surely. I actually won't even bother yet. I will do Forge Cyber Core. That's what I'll do. Won't bother with any unit production. My gambit is that won't matter. Suppose I should actually save at some point too to avoid pain. But there's no avoiding pain, is there? This is Champions of Khandia. Instant goon range. We'll get a couple dragoons. Oh no! It's our campaign easy. Actually, its first attack is supposed to be the three Zerglings, and then there's supposed to be 3 Hydras. So there must have been some extra fuckery or spawning or something. See, the thing is, I went through a very similar process to what some of these people hopefully will do, because eventually I woke up. But I made a bunch of content with a million pre-play stuff, and then supplemented shitty AI scripts that were vanilla AI scripts with some basic, what would you say? Some basic spawning and stuff. And then, like, at some point I realized, oh, it's not very satisfying when you're dealing with an enemy that is just got the entire map pre-placed for them, basically. So maybe I should try to make this a little bit more sensible. But, I guess, like, it does feel very obvious when you realize it. Especially the part about, like, respecting your player and stuff. That part is, like, inarguably obvious. But the exact mechanics of how to do it, you kind of need to explore that yourself. And you need to analyze, like, objectively and honestly the faults with the base product that you're inspired by. And it doesn't really seem like anybody does that, which is pretty unfortunate. I think we'll go when we have a couple more lots. A lot more lots. Can you believe people... Some people say zeals, some people say lots. Because everything has to be a single syllable, or else it's not short enough. Get this timing relatively synchronized anyway. Yeah, we'll just go for, I think, 3 zealots. Oh no, I think I should be able to build another one in the time it takes me to get this upgrade. Or do I want another goon instead? I think I do. So yeah, I guess it's not very immediately obvious to people, like, when you have a situation where playing a game is actually the ideal. You have to look at example content and first-party content, and obviously Blizzard set a really atrocious example. But that still doesn't excuse the lack of industriousness. You gotta take charge, homies. You gotta become the men you were meant to become. That's funny. Alright, cool. We instantly eviscerated that. I will drop a pylon over here. Yeah, thanks. I know how the mechanics of the game work. Oh, thank you. I was looking for a warm place to chill. I guess... By the way, during this entire time, my sound is muted, so... That's presumably to quiet the explosions, but that was cringe. Well, soon my pain will end, hopefully. I suppose I can actually get zealot speed now. Dude, look at all of these pre-placed colonies. It's crazy. He's actually probably strong enough to just own this colony by himself. Especially with that fatty +1 upgrade. There's a couple zealots here. You can see that when you're dealing with low econ play, every single lost zealot is untold pain and suffering. Unfortunately, I have to sit here and wait about 8 years for this guy to unburrow again. Basically, he will do so when he's good and ready. I need more dragoons so that I can one-hit those enemies. Let us get more probes. There's no obnoxious countdown timer, but at the same time, that actually makes it more annoying to perceive what we're meant to be perceiving and how much time I have. But I guess as long as there's that dialogue line, should be fine. It will be a while before my upgrade finishes. I think I'll just go kill that base beforehand. And I will also drop a photon cannon over here, in case I get mutalisked. Oh, he unburrowed. I missed my opportunity. Money? Are you there? Nice random animation delay. That is a thing, by the way. Just like there's a 1 in 256 chance to miss. Don't you just love lard? That's an obscure reference I don't think anybody will get, actually. But maybe somebody has Christmas tree shop in their neighborhood. Don't think it's a very European thing, though. I like how I attack moved, and they decided to go for the fucking hatchery. Can't be making that mistake when you don't have zealot legs, my homies. But don't worry, it's coming. I guess I should hotkey this. Oh, we really gotta try to pop this sometime soon. So that they stop sending fucking reinforcements. Alright. We have cleansed the local area of a hive cluster. Except that wasn't very much of a hive cluster. Oh, true, I must. Holy shit. I actually get to play the game a little. I'll go back to not being able to in a moment. Some money over here. I sense the money. The moolah. You broke something. I guess there's probably more stuff over here. Considering there's overlards. Fucking prankers. I will begin the journey. I suppose I could... Oh, I can't get observers. Probably because they would reveal the Spider-Mans. I don't know. Why the fuck would you disallow observers of all things? Would be nice if I just had money for, you know, from harvesting traditionally instead of this gimmick. I just transferred workers. I'm insane. As if you could ever have enough workers in this setting. Oh. So there isn't a dialogue line that warns you. Just the sound cue. It's pretty, long, at least. What is this dude doing? Imagine making you micromanage your fucking workers in this predatory manner in a game like this. With this pathing? Oh, I defense shuffled them accidentally. That was a grave mistake. I have attempted to interact with my opponents, assuming a fair and balanced playground. I mean battleground. Because there's no gameplay. So you can't call it a playground. You know what I mean? Thanks. This will surely come in handy. Never mind. Don't you like consistent reads? This guy looks like he's outside. More of this, more of that. Guess I'll grab another forgery. There you go. I think I'm winning. That guy looked like he was in. I guess I'll just snipe this shit. It's just another prank base anyway. It's not their main base. If they even have a main. Dude, the random animation delay really is something else. Oh, he's trapped me. Too bad he sucks. Armor. I guess I could also get some more of this. Oh yeah, I should build an assimilator here. This is just here to allow me to use workers. To use the gimmick pathfinding thing to avoid death, but I should still do it. Oh, I guess I could have done it anyway. Yeah, actually, the only time I can't do it is when there's an assimilator being built on it, which is pretty cool. I could have inadvertently fucked myself there. Nice tiny ramp for tiny men. You know how big fucking dragoons are, dude? You have any idea? Boy! Oh, I shouldn't even bother building workers in this area. Not very useful. Owned. That blend almost looks good. Granted, it is fucking Ash World, so. That brave man decided to sacrifice his existence so that his fellow men could pathfind up the ramp. Ah, here we go. Ah, there's the paint. There it is. There it is, Tony. Bing. Okay, nice broken tile, I guess. Oh, we can't do that. We have already collected 3 crystals. Imagine saying 3 in a pause and center view during combat and other attempted inputs by the player. It's almost like you don't really care much for what the player might or might not be doing at any given time. Almost like that. I would never allege something so disrespectful, though. Except for when it's true, homie. Oh man, you don't even have access to north-facing ramps if you don't mod this tile, so that's pretty embarrassing. Well, off we go. Some more worker micromanagement. You guys all paid to see? Good pathing. So we'll just do this. Okay, now that we're done with that fucking minigame, let's get our zealots in front and start fucking... Oh, this guy's not even connected to anything, he's just here to slow us down. Pretty nice. Okay, I guess we'll just sit here for a while then. I could go and fight anyway, it's just so annoying when you're ensnared. Where should we rally to? Oh, this level design is atrocious, isn't it? There's no connection to... I have to go all the way here. So I have to do this. You can see how much instantaneously better they are once this shit happens. Because having AI that, like, on a fucking cooldown, point and click casts some spells that remove interactivity from the game is pretty epic, obviously. It's pretty skill expressive. Holy fucking pathfinding, dude. This is, like, malicious. I mean... I shouldn't really be surprised, I guess. But I wonder if my assimilator will get owned if I build it here. Alright. Well, now that we've freed ourselves from ensnare for a very brief moment in time, I will press onward and see if I can aggro some more queens and kill them. I'll just get trained again until I can kill their queen's nest. And, hopefully that is well on its way. What's up with the burrowed units? I wonder if they're being created and moved onto some random units in an area or something. It could just be the AI being dumb, but I wouldn't put it past the triggers in such a project. I clearly need to stock up on more men. There's the ensnare. We'll just bait that out continuously every now and then. There is a sunken over here, which is going to be really bad if I have to deal with that. I could just frontline with this dude, but... I don't know if that's actually very ideal. Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. I guess I won't bother with that. I can rally a probe over here. Notice that the AI don't seem to be mining. Don't. Not true. I have changed my mind. I'm decolliding because borrowed units are actually being spawned into me. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, so very little respect was paid here. I'll actually open the map to confirm that that is indeed happening. It's actually quite trivial to implement if you were trying to do that, but this is... Like, when you're dealing with so many fucking gimmicks and so many, like, perversions of the RTS formula, and you're still gimmicking the player even further with even more unfair fucking advantages for the opponent, like, at what point does the player just admit defeat and give up? You didn't even... I guess it doesn't really matter. You didn't even place this geyser correctly in the map, so it's just broken. Okay, I will now train more units. Not that I can train too many more. Give it a good old college try, won't we? Yeah, it's not a huge amount to say here. I definitely feel like I need to isolate this colony. At least I did a lot of damage to it, but the spawning in units and stuff. The presumed spawning in units is pretty bad. I think I can safely transfer some of these workers over here, which should safely transfer these workers over here, and then a couple more. Oh, never mind.
Upgrade complete. Make use of
All right, off we go. Yeah, I thought this might happen.
commencing. Executor. We are under attack.
Ensnaring my fucking workers. The classic. The El Classico.
What would you ask of me? Instructions. What would you ask of me?
Alright, off we go, homies. He just has an absurd amount of queens or something. But with how many gimmicks there are, it is very, it's very appealing to immediately say, oh, I wonder how many fucking, how many gimmicks he's got exactly. Does he, is he refilling their fucking energy bars with a trigger or some shit? Like, the amount of ensnares is pretty ridiculous. Maybe he just modified the cost, or maybe it was just a ridiculous amount of queens. It's not like you can snipe them very easily when you're ensnared and walking into pre-placed hordes. Though at this point, I probably have filtered out all of the AI's guards, besides for stuff that they don't actually use for defenses, like maybe actual guardians, for example, or even mutalisks they don't seem to be defending with, but they attack with. So probably are still active in the map. Alright. At least we should be able to fucking kill their stuff now. Don't have a huge amount of build space here. Again, the AI is not even harvest. Like, he's not even bothering with like the idea that there's some sort of consistency. I don't have really maneuverability space to like spread my units out to avoid ensnare because of all of the enemy units and the stuff over here. And just the terrain in general, right? So this one was brought down a good peg by my homie. Let's see if we can't investigate this a bit further. Another situation where I'm basically disbarred from using most of the tech tree. This time, some of it is enabled, but it's pretty useless to spec out at this point. Like, I could go Reavers, I guess, but that would slow things down quite a bit, and we still can't go Templar, so we can't use our gateways. Because we had to use fucking heroes. So I can't build Archons. Like, so much shit is wrong. Archons are actually a pretty huge asset for Zergs, against Zerg. So the fact that we can't use those here is actually quite condemnable in situations where maybe it seems like it's just another unit that can't be used. Such a unit is actually quite potent when you're dealing with this stuff. I have to pull this attack force. I don't have to, but... Come on. Alright, now we can get over here. Thank goodness one of them suicided. Oh, I never actually put these guys back. Yeah. Who would have thunk that one? Nice pathfinding. That's why I didn't even bother adding these units to control groups earlier. So yeah, the existence of a low ground base confirms that the lava is localized only to those terrain areas. This is pretty hilarious. Holy shit. Yeah, again, he probably thinks that I'm going to actually bother doing anything with the Templar hero or something. That's the only thing I can think of. Oh, looks like I managed to evade wrath. My own wrath, of course. Oh, there was another Queen's Nest here anyway. You notice he like repeatedly spams the tech facilities so that they're actually pointless. They just serve to blockade you. Slow you down in your approach. I'll just go ahead and snipe this. I don't know if this is the last one, though. I never know if it's the last one. Because unlike normal, sane individuals, this AI just has a million fucking tech structures, even though that would just demonstrably never exist. There we go. I don't know where that was. This is his hive, so I assume this is actually the extent of it. Oh, at least I didn't get broodlinged. Could have been worse. Actually, I would have taken some broodlings because ensnare is actually way more impactful against me. If you took all of the ensnare, no, maybe all of the ensnares converted into broodlings would have been pretty bad, I guess. Is there another dragoon stuck somewhere? No, I don't know. Alright, well, I guess I'll just have to keep progressing. Make use of me. Commencing. Receiving. Awaiting instructions. There's one of them. Suppose I'll scout the area out with another unit. I don't think there's a way to get into the middle of the map here. I guess I could probably do a transport or some shit. They have air units, but I don't. Because fairness. Oh yeah, that was a classic. I literally walked in here, by the way. This is specifically what I walked in here to avoid, actually. Was avoid getting surprised by some pre-placed units. But they weren't pre-placed. They respawned. And only when a specific character walked in instead of any unit. Because that's just how it is.
As you will, immediately.
Well, at least I can actually get a real base. What? Oh, yeah, I built a zealot because I didn't have money. Is there a way that I'm not aware of to get over there? I don't think so. Oh, but maybe there's... maybe the crystals are, like, in some location I just haven't thought about. Like over here.
For ire.
Holy shit, guys. A base. It's not exactly a great base, but it's a base. It's what we got. You guys move. Please. Creep minerals. Just that, I guess. Oh, actually, we could actually use this gas. Now that I think about it. You hunger for battle. You hunger so much for battle. You said it 3 times in a row.
For ire, as
Now,
you
there's
will.
probably a crystal over here.
Immediately.
Ah, I can kill these guys, whatever. Goodbye.
For ire.
Oh! He just gave up. He just gave up on the sun and just teleported you. Don't say Venerable Hermit Archon, please. Grim happenings. Utna Bainzer. Oh shit! Hermit Archon is trying to manifest hybrid. Bersenanger. Implacable, by the way. Oh, okay.
Immediately.
Ah.
Executor.
Oh my cringe. He gave Zolix a single lick and then owned him. So my shields and health didn't get restored, which is why I was running around with that guy instead of actually doing. Oh, hallucination trigger. I wish I feared no enemy. How did you get here? You are on a literal island. How could you possibly have even gotten here? How can you possibly escape? You want to jump into the lava? That's an escape. But Rostaban said Zolix's hallucination. Oh my god. Oh no, get him. No. No. I'm cringing. Jesus. So that's a slapstick presentation of a quote-unquote twist, where Gorn is controlling this Archon Hermitod. Why did we even... like, the fact that we defeated that implacable guy and then... oh man, that should have been the unplaceable, and it should have just errored warning unit unplaceable. That would have been funny. That would have been a good subversion of my. Cause if Mapcraft was still going on, that would be a thing. That would be a unit unplaceable. Okay, well, dude, I'm speechless. How do I even analyze this? Dude, that was insane. That was actually crazy. That happened. I just played that and witnessed it. Witness. You know, witness? Yeah, that was me. I was the witness. Oh my god. Dude, that's... Wait, that was real. And we're only 2 maps in, and that's real. Jesus. Amazing. Oh, by the way, I'm opening the map now, and there are a bunch of triggers to prevent probes from getting into the area to pick up the crystals, because he didn't want to run, like, the I think it's a junkyard dog script. There's some script that... Oh, no, it's the disable one, I think, that makes it implaceable by crystals. This does have a weird side effect of cloaking it in remastered, but nobody plays remastered. I mean, you can't play remastered, you know what I mean? And then apparently there's a bunch of other areas that are like fixing pathfinding by just teleporting Zerg units if they go into certain areas. I assume because they got stuck and then pranked themselves. I don't see anything immediately apparent that there would be a bunch of like spawns or something, but I do see. I do see a bunch of spawn triggers actually. There were apparently some scourges. I didn't see any. Maybe that's just an unused location or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna bother digging through the triggers. I was just curious if there's anything obvious about how the like some of that stuff was. Then there's a no units allowed section for the fucking cutscene, even though no units can actually go there. I guess it's to like... He could just have drawn a location over the whole cutscene area and then removed units there if there was like overlords or mutalisks or something. Well, there you go. That's not confirmation about whether or not I was getting spawned on by all these borrowed units or if it was just really bad luck like 6 times in a row. But what a map. Wow. Real toxic gameplay for the harvesting of resources, having to not just interrupt your resource harvesting and micromanage your base, but do so in a way that's really annoying in Brood War. And obviously, without access to north-facing ramps or wider ramps, you basically, like, without modding the tiles, basically, like, this kind of concept is just unfucking tenable. I really like the ideas of having bases where the town center is placed on the high ground, and then or maybe even on the low ground, and then there's like a ramp up or down to the different resources. You do have to gimmick it a little bit with Brood War because the AI won't mine resource. They won't. You can do it either with base layouts in the AI script, or you can do it with gimmicked tiles beneath the mineral fields, like the crevices that I use in Cosmonarchy, for example. And you can, either way, like whatever approach you do, there's ways around the limitations of the engine. But I really like that idea in concept. I think it's actually really cool because it's a nice little novel twist. It does affect resource harvestability rates, but you can offset that with more workers, and it just means that it would basically be a base that would probably be higher yield. There'd be some offset where maybe it's super safe, or maybe it balances itself out with a low times to harvest the resources with just having a deep resource pool with like 30 mineral fields or something crazy. So really you can do a ton of different options with that. But to just make it so that workers occasionally die if they stay there is really annoying. And obviously the resources aren't permanent in Vanilla Brood War, which is just like a design flaw from an RTS perspective, in my opinion. Like, it's possible to make it so that resources aren't permanent and still have a quality RTS product, I guess, but it's like there's not really any reason to not include them. At least have some permanence to resources like the geysers, where they give you some depleted stuff, or at least maybe make it so that like some of them do, and then some of them are temporary, so they don't get reseeded or whatever, whereas others do regrow. Like there's like that binary where you could have one or the other, and that I think was in some of the early Command and Conquer games. So it's like stuff that like adjacent to Brood War that you should be able to take from and improve upon the formula. But there's never any learning. There's never any like appreciation for the faults of other products. I understand and respect that everybody's on their own path throughout design, but in this particular case, it's pretty condemnable that we just played a whole mission where we weren't respected at any point in it. We opened the mission up by microing into a situation where we build a nexus and wait for the nexus to be built, while a couple of Zergling guards get shuffled into our base, and Zerg Campaign Easy, Zergling 3 threes us. Like, okay, dude, thanks. That's very, very respectful. I'm really competing for my time. I could be fucking watching Netflix or getting my dick sucked, but instead I'm playing your project. So at least fucking act like you care. Fucking, it really is just infuriating when you sit down to think about it. And I understand it probably wasn't the direct, explicit intention to be malicious, but that's the end result. So you got to take some fucking responsibility here. And with that, there is a 3. I don't know if should I keep playing right now? That's a question. Kind of hungry. What time is it? We'll investigate that. Think I'll just call it here for this session. These missions went a bit longer than I expected, not because of good reason. High Hopes, hey, that's a mission title I can get behind, except I read the rest of this description and I immediately realized that my high hopes are going to be dashed. So hopefully we do actually get some high hopes. It's a bigger map than the previous one, but not as big as the first one, which actually is a good sign, I think. I will say I am sufficiently, my expectations were met. Not in the good sense. Like, I was expecting something pretty bad from what I had seen of Andrea Rose's previous work in terms of respecting the player and all those other things that we talked about in the video. And also knowing that the evolution of Andrea Rose's development so far has actually been to make their projects seemingly more gimmicky than before. And, like, they've basically gone down the same road that I was talking about in the previous playthrough, of the previous mission, where you start out and you're, like, trying to make something. So you do some basic stuff, some simple stuff, and you don't really get too crazy. And then as your understanding of the systems increases, but if your understanding of the tools increases, but your concept of what makes a project does not improve or evolve, you will just make worse stuff, like more involved stuff. But you'll make, at least if it's not worse, it's not going to be much better. And you're making stuff with, like, more complexity to it, but without the substance of something that is actually earning its complexity. So there were a ton of locations and presumably a ton of triggers in that second mission. And you can write off some of them that are related to a cutscene, because you can have cutscenes. I don't really care. But the thought of there being so many triggers and basically needing to spend so much time fine-tuning individual areas of your map using fucking triggers to prevent, like, unwanted gameplay things, instead of just giving yourself a good sandbox to design content within that doesn't need all of that effort. If you open any released scenario for Cosmonarchy, you will not see a million triggers. You will see maybe a couple of triggers for dialogue and stuff. Yeah, you'll see all those, but you won't see a million locations. There's probably, like, single-digit locations in pretty much all of the campaign missions that I've released for the birthday campaign, for example. There's 4 maps of that out as of the time of recording this, and none of them have ridiculous locations. None of them have really lengthy... I'm not saying it's a bad thing to include locations for the sake of, again, cutscenes and stuff. You can write that off. But if you're having to, like, fix pathing by teleporting units or prevent breaking power-ups or whatever, like, why? Why would you bother doing that when you could just mod the fucking game and make it better? Why would you do any of this when it's actually less work once you improve your process? Now, the improving your process part is work, yeah, but you're actually spending more time to produce an inferior product. Flame knife syndrome all over again. Anyway, I will leave it there for now. We will jump into this some other time. You're probably just going to keep watching anyway, so hop on over to the next vid, IMO. Bye.